Well, hello, my bits, my little bits of sunshine, that is. My name is Veronica, and I am coming to you from Northern California, and myself and my other half are with Chasing Sunshine by Veronica. So today we're going to do a little series called Lunchtime Paint Time with V, and we are going to be working on the project that we started yesterday, which is this little bench right here. And we put some decoupage paper on it yesterday, and now we're going to stencil some designs on the side. We're going to be using some JRV stencils as well as some standard stencils that we got off Amazon. So if you're interested in that type of content, stick around. Without further ado, we're going to hop right into the project. So the first thing we're going to do is decide what stencil slash possible transfer that we're going to use for this project. KK? All right. So as you guys hop on, say hey, let me know where you're popping in from and what time of day it is for you. It's actually currently 12:30 for me, and it is my lunch hour, half hour. So I think I decided we're going to use this number and do like a number 6, number 5, number 4, number something on one side. This is one, like I said, I got off of Amazon, and then I got a whole bunch of these like little sheets with numbers, and I really like this number 5 for this specific project. I feel like it's kind of like, I want to say retro or like punk or something like that. I also like this number 5, and so the difference is this one doesn't have any, it's totally cut out, like a number 5 cut out, whereas this one has these little like hashy like togetherness situations. I think we're gonna go with this one just because that's what my gut says. And I do realize that the number, the NO and the actual number are like quite vastly different in size, but the area in which we're gonna put this requires the number to be smaller than this NO number. Get it? Get it? Kind of confusing, but I think that's what we're going to go with, because I did kind of think about this prior to actually coming live. Okay, let me correct myself. I'm not live. So this is what's going on. We live in an area out in the sticks where it's super, super sketchy as far as cell phone service and internet. And so with that said, what I've decided to do, instead of go live at lunchtime and have it just kind of cut in, cut out, cut in, cut out, and go through the drama of all that sketchiness, I'm just going to film my video as if I am live. That way I will just upload it straight away right after this, and it's good to go. So what I have been doing historically is like, I started off with a YouTube channel, and I love YouTube, don't get me wrong. It's kind of like the platform in which I love because I use it a lot. Like if I'm looking to, you know, for some sort of like guidance or how to do something, or just meditation or funnies or whatever it is, you can specifically type in whatever it is that you're searching for and it pops up. So it's vastly different from Facebook, which is like you find your people, you follow them, you like them, you watch them kind of situation. Whatever like niche you're looking at, like that's kind of the avenue in which you go. That's how I roll anyway. And so YouTube is really specific. So if you're trying to find something, like the probability of just random people finding your channel is higher on YouTube, I think. However, I have more followers on Facebook, but that's because I've asked them to follow me. You know what I mean? Or me follow them. Whatever it is. I'm kind of rambling at this point. So we're going to just move right along. And then I also thought we would maybe put a transfer on one side. This is a transfer from A Redesign with Prima. It's part of the, I'm going to say, mini transfer sets. It comes in 3 full sheets like this. It's like, I don't know, 16 inches by 6 inches or something. You get 3 full sheets of just different artwork. And a transfer, if you don't know what that is, it's basically a digital image graphic, if you will, that's printed on some sort of like tacky or sticky film. I don't really know how to explain it or exactly what the true definition is. I'm just telling you what it feels, appears like it is. And so then you just transfer on this image on to a surface by rubbing it. And so it's pretty sweet because basically when you actually transfer these onto a subject area, it almost appears as if it's a painting. Like, it doesn't look like a sticker. It doesn't feel like a sticker. There's like literally no, you can't differentiate from like a flat surface versus on top of a transfer. Like, there's no like lumpy bumpy stuff going on. It's actually straight away just like smooth as silk. So yeah, anyway, just kind of telling you a little bit about transfers if you don't know. So we're going to use something. I don't think we're actually going to use an owl. I think we're going to use some of this grungy like old writing or script or numbers or whatever it might be. So that's what we're working with. I also thought maybe, oh, I did say JRV stencil. So this is the part in JRV stencil that I was speaking of. So basically, I don't know how you can like see what it is. No, that don't help at all. Anyway, this is just part of her grain stack stencil kit that you get, and I really do like this. It says grains, and it says, you know, some sort of French 1962 situation going on. Yeah, like that one too. So we're going to use a little bit of, I think, all of the ones which I just showed, and go from there. Okay, and then this is the actual subject that we're going to be working on. So yesterday, this is what we did together. If you didn't catch that video, go on over to Chasing Sunshine. Let's see, I'm having an issue uploading it to my business page. And so I think I figured out a loophole or a workaround for today, but actually the video for this is on just Chasing Sunshine, which is like my personal page. It's so confusing because my personal page, instead of saying my name, Veronica Rasmussen, it says Chasing Sunshine, right? And then my business page is Chasing Sunshine by Veronica. So confusing. That's what I'm here for, girl. If you want to be confused, just to watch me. Dazed and confused. Okay, so anyway, go to Chasing Sunshine if you want to watch the first layer, in which we did this yesterday. Decoupage paper, Roy cycled decoupage paper. Super sweet, super cool, super grungy, super lovely. And then we just actually put this straight upon this little stool. I'm calling it a bench, but it's actually a stool that we got at the Goodwill, and it's been layered, probably, I'm thinking latex paint, I don't know, it could have been some sort of chalk paint, but, or even milk paint for that matter. Regardless, I did not paint it, I just left it the color in which it was. I picked a piece of decoupage paper that would then mesh well with that color. I think I did a good job. Typically you want to paint like a white or a light background behind your decoupage paper to make it then pop, but this had a lot of maroons and red tones and blue tones within it already, and I thought it would go really well, and let you be the judge in that. Tell me what you think. Is it a yay or a nay? Let me know in the comments below. And so another thing that I wanted to tell you was, you see how this screw, this was kind of really, I don't really want to say anything mean, but it was just kind of slapped together. Like, it was not fine when working, we'll say that, okay? But it was just like put together with screws and such, and so they didn't fill the screw holes. And I just laid the decoupage paper right over there was 4 screw holes in the top, and you can't even tell. Like, I filled it with the decoupage medium, which was Liquid Patina, and literally you can't even tell. So it covered that up. And now we're gonna jump into the project. 8 minutes into it, you know, what else? So we're gonna work on the 2 sides, okay? All right. So that's as far as I thought it through. I didn't even think about the color yet. So I'm feeling like if we have any dark blue, okay, there's a little black dress. Gray is always a good option. We have this chocolate, which is a layered chocolate, and we're not going to actually use that color. Let me think about this for 5 seconds here. I was kind of wanting to get like a deep dark blue. Do we have a boho blue here? I have an old school here, which is good. I wonder if old school and mermaid toe, what that would do for me. What would that do for me? Or looky here, I got me a boho blue, baby. Boho blue right there, right there. Okay, we're gonna do that then. We're gonna do that. Oh boy, someone just drove by. Okay, so we're gonna focus on, I think, some white, which we have tarnished pearl over here, and that's what we're gonna use. I've got 2, 3 JRV brushes. So JRV came out, which is Jamie Ray Vintage. If you don't know her, follow her. She's pretty cool. Very great artist. So we've got a 1 inch, a 1/2 inch, and a 3/8 inch JRV stencil brushes. She has a whole set. She has another one. I think there's a total of 4, but these are the ones that I have here. They have really nice handles. They're thick in stature, like they're easy to handle. They're really firm yet soft, if you know what I mean. Like they're very, like, they're firm, like I'm pushing hard. It's not like even manipulating the brush very much, but it's also like dense. So they're good for this. Okay. I've talked your little ears right off, so I feel like without further ado, like I said 10 minutes ago, we're going to jump right into this project, okay? Okay. So the first thing you want to do is identify the area in which you want to lie your stencil. I've already done this somewhat, which is right here, and we're going to start off with the number, the NO. It's kind of a little confusing, I know. If I could find it, where did it go? The NO. NO go. Where did it go? Where did it go? Seriously? Huh. Interesting. Well, with that said, we'll start off with the JRV baby. JRV baby. Okay. We're just going to start off with this one then until I locate the other one. And so for me, guys, I am not a measurer. I do not fuss with the fuddle. Nope. I just kind of guesstimate. I take my little fingers right like this. And I go 1, 2, 3, little bumblebee, and guess what? It lines up right about with that screw. So that's going to be our identifying mark that then lines me up as far as center. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters in that. So split it in half, 3 and 3. So it's about right there. And then you can just kind of eyeball it and see that it's, you know, about 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches on each side. I'm good with that, guys. I am golden with that. Okay, so with that said, you want to just go ahead and get your old situation going. See, can you guys see what I'm rolling on there? See what I'm doing? Let me check in here and see if that NO got misplaced somewhere. I just don't know. What I do know is I'm going to get going on this, and we're going to start off with, I reckon we're going to use Bohemian Blue for some of it, because I really want to do the Boho Blue, but I'm feeling like maybe with the lines. So we got blue. I'm going to mix it up, guys. I'm going to mix it up. How's that sound? Boho Blue. I'm doing currently a buffet in Boho Blue, and it's quite stellar. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I like it a lot. I'm going to go ahead and use the 1/2 inch JRV stencil brush, and I'm going to apply some of the paint onto it, and then I'm going to offload it. This is uber thick, beautiful loveliness. It is not odorless. It's better than odorless. It smells like minerals. It smells like clay, because it's a clay-based paint. I love the smell of the DIY paint. So what we're going to do is we're kind of going to, I'm going to use a little bit of Boho Blue and white, I believe, with this design. And I'm just going to kind of break it up and do a little here, a little there, okay? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So when you do stenciling, the best practice is less is more, meaning the less paint on your brush, the more clear it's going to be, right? And we're already starting off with a dark, deep maroon red here. And so, you know, it's going to take quite a few layers to then build this color up. And so the best method is to, I'm actually being a little bit juicy with it, but if you come in light-handed with a little bit of paint, get that first layer down, get it to kind of stick, get the stencil to kind of stick to your subject area there. I feel like that's the overall best practice. And I'm going to let that layer kind of dry just a little bit. And then I'm going to come in with this Skeleton Key. Skeleton Key, if you guys don't know me, is one of my favorite grays of all times. And sometimes if you're, no, I'm not going to say a sloppy painter, but if you get like paint on your rim there, then it dries kind of shut. So you kind of have to either get it wet or bang it or whatever. You see how that clay paint kind of builds up on the edges there like that? Yeah, it happens, guys. This ain't no thing but a jelly bean. So go ahead and get some of that gray on your old brush. Oh, that was pretty thick. Guys, that's pretty thick. So if you notice here, I also start on the plastic area, and I kind of start my swirl off a little bit more. Start my swirl before I actually go into the lettering. That's just kind of a tactic that I learned while I was at the DIY boot camp from, who taught that? Who did that? Oh, that was Vintage Bee Design, Miss Melissa Morrow herself. It was her little idea that she shared with all of us lovely ladies. And it actually really is like a super, super time saver, guys. If you're like the whole pouncing stencil. Oh, that scared me. I'm here by myself and that thing moved. The pouncing method definitely works, but it takes a bit more time. I think it takes a bit more time. So if you have the ability to do the swirl, guys, swirl it up. I am highly recommending the swirl, guys. And you can see how little paint it actually takes to do this. You basically just use an itty bitty amount of paint and you just get her in there. I'm serious when I say less is more for stenciling, guys. Less is more. I mean, you've all seen the bleed through. You've all seen when it creeps up and under your old situation, you know, your stencil here. It's like not a good look. And so it happens, though. It happens to the best of them out there. And ain't no thing like a jelly bean. But you just keep practicing, guys. Where there's a will, there's a way. Mark my words. Okay, so I'm kind of going to just go back and forth between the boho blue and the skeleton key. I try to use the names of the actual paint so that you folks can get familiar with the names in case you want to purchase these colors that I'm using. And if you do, you know, hop on over to our website. It's called ChasingSunshineByV.com, and that's where our website's located. And you're always welcome to go on over. We've got a couple of fun things going on there. We've got a collection within our website that's called Found Just for You, and those are things that we find when we're out picking, you know, random rummage sales or secondhand stores or what it may be, and we find really cool items and we just pick them up and resell them. And the other one is called Flippin' Fab, and that's a collection that we started with things like this. So say you were interested in purchasing this, then you know you could purchase it under that tab called Flippin' Fab. And we also sell DIY clay-based paint. We sell Redesign with Pyramid products, Sweet Pickins milk paint, and yes, we sell JRV, we sell Would You Bin. So we've got lots to offer there, guys. So if anytime you want, don't forget ChasingSunshineByV.com. Yeah. And reach out if there's something that you don't see on our website that you would like, that's one of those brands, and we can get the product, because we're slowly building our inventory, guys. It takes time to like build your inventory. It's expensive, especially when you're carrying so many brands, like, and working out of a small space. Like we have just a very limited storage. Yeah, so we do drop ship some stuff. Anyway, that's the spiel. Okay, I feel like it actually is taking quite a few layers, and I feel like I might be bleeding under in a couple of these areas up here because it's not wanting to dry on top of this latex paint as fast as it normally does. So with that said, I feel like I'm going to flip it over, let that layer dry, and then we're going to start another one on this side. And it is just like, oh, here it is. The NO is right here, guys. Right here. Okay, so that's sweet because I wanted to do the NO kind of like that. And I guess I could do the NO. I think I'm going to want to do it just like the route right there, halfway down, because when this bench is on the ground, like the closer to the ground this is, the more obvious you'll be able to see it probably. Yeah. It's kind of what I'm thinking. So again, with the tape, go ahead and get the tape lined up. I'm also feeling like I want to kind of go over this screw hole though, just to like hide it. That might be a tactic that I have. So if that were the case, I could just kind of go like that, right in that area, which I feel like might work. That might work, huh? Kind of get it straight on there would be my objective. With that said, I'm kind of just looking at the space up here and seeing if it's right. Level's not quite the right word. But there we go, guys. I think that'll work. So for this, I feel like we're going to use a whole different color. We're just going to go in with the white. And we're going to use the 1-inch CRV brush. So again, less is more, less is more. Start on the plastic. Swirl, swirl, swirl. And you can see how my, my letter here is going off of the surface on this side as well as this side. I like that look, guys. It actually, for me, it kind of leaves a bit for the imagination to then fill in the blanks. And I love that look in art. I absolutely love it. It's not like boxed in or confined at all. And I'm going to put a little extra paint down there where that screw hole is. Again, we're trying to like, sometimes, have you ever heard of like, when you can't beat them, join them? I can't beat that screw hole. I ain't going to fill it. This is a rustic kind of grungy look here that I'm going for. So we're going to keep the screw holes. I'm not repainting this because I just feel like that color goes really well with the decoupage paper, Rose-Cycles decoupage paper that we used. And so we're just going to be one with the screw hole. We're going to embrace it. Right, guys? Right. Okay, again, I'm going to let that layer dry. This paint typically dries super fast because it is a chalky clay-based paint. And what that means is that it has clay components to it as well as chalk. And so both of those things dry out, right? Especially the chalky calcium carbonate substance is like, that's what one of the things we all love about chalk paint is that it dries super fast, right? Whoopsie. Okay, so I feel like this is going to be the last coat that we go with this stencil because, again, it's grungy. It ain't got to be perfect, right? If y'all know me, you know that I don't go for perfection. That's not my job. That's God's job. Oops, I'm probably covering up with my hand. But even though I do have it taped down, guys, I always try to hold it down like it's kind of poofing up just a little baby bit right there in the center where I couldn't get any tape. So then I just use my paws and I just hold it down in place. And that's super important so that you don't get that bleed through. But that doesn't mean you are not going to get that bleed through. It just, you're trying to mitigate, you know, what's up. And I am actually going over that screw hole right there too. But because I'm doing that and because the screw is not screwed down all the way in this side, instead of being an innie, it's an outie. And so it's pushing that stencil up and away from the surface area, so you might get a little bit more bleed through. Just little things like that. It's really critical to kind of pay attention to when you're doing stencil work. And again, it all depends on the look you're going for. If you're going for a more grungy, distressed kind of vibe, then, you know, do your thing, baby. You've got to be perfect, like I said. Okay, so the one thing I'm critical about, guys, if you know me at all, I keep saying that, but I don't know why I say that. Button up your work. Button up your paint, guys, because it is made with a clay / chalky substance, and you don't want to dry it out, right? It's just like gold. It's like gold, but literally like gold. So, okay, you guys, we're going to just go do the big reveal. And when you do the reveal, I like to pull up the tape on one side and then just slowly lift it. And that is terrible. That's an awful stencil job. I'm highly disappointed in that. That did not turn out at all, guys. So what that means is it's going to be a distressed for the best. Look at that work, guys. Look how terrible that turned out. My word, was I soupy or what? Get this chatterbox going and there ain't no turning back. Okay, so the grains turned out sweet. All the lettering down here turned out really good. The actual, like, medallion did not turn out right. It was a huge party foul. So, you know, adapt, overcome. It ain't no thing but a jelly bean, like I keep saying. Don't stress about the small stuff, guys. This world is just got too much to stress about this kind of stuff. This is supposed to be fun. So, if I really was super concerned, what I would do is just paint over it, sand it down, paint it over it, wipe it off for that matter, because until sealed, you can actually distress and pull the paint back off quite easily. And so that's something that you could mitigate that with, is just pull it off and try it again. But I'm just going to go for the distress look. I'm going to make it work. This is a grungy look, guys. This, oops, see how I just kind of fumbled that up? That could make it bleed. But I'm a firm believer in if you could do the first layer super thin and then come back, it kind of like adheres your stencil to the subject that you're working on, and then it kind of creates a seal, right? So if it's thinner than thicker, it's better. That first layer. Okay, almost done here. All right, so there's the NO, and then we're gonna do the 5. And I kind of think I'm just gonna place the 5 like down here, kind of in this little corner here. I'll line that end up with that. Just get her going. Thin. Just use the paint that's on the brush, guys. Just use the paint that's on the brush. I want to do 2 layers, and now I'm committed to this spot because I didn't tape it down. I'm just holding it down my old digit there. Get some texture going. Come back in. Lift it up. Number 5. Okay. So, remember how I said it's like until sealed, you could pull it right up? Well, evidently I was getting part of the number 6 in there too, because I wasn't really paying that close attention. So all you gotta do is get something wet. Give a little bit of wet on there. Pull you guys in some more so you can see what I'm doing. And then you just literally wipe it off, right? Wipe it straight away off. Because until it's dried and until you seal it, you can easily remove it like that. Okay, here goes the NO. Much better, much better, much better. Okay, so I'm digging that. It says NO5. It's kind of a groovy little situation, right? And benches like this, it's like number 5, alive. I kind of like it. This one is kind of more of like a, I'm thinking like, you know, sophisticated college dorm room kind of deal. But I like it as well. So what I'm going to do is just come back and distress that emblem pretty good. And then I also was thinking of putting the transfer down like we spoke of earlier. So let's see. I have this one here kind of cut out already. And I would love to show you all how that worked. Where would that look good at? Kind of right there maybe. And then do half of it here and the other half over here. Or, yeah, I'm feeling it on this side, honestly. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put it right here, and then we're going to cut it like at this angle. Easy. And I just got that angle from this actual leg right here, right? Oops, you guys can't really see what I'm doing. There you are. Just should have let me know. Should have let me know. Even though you're not there. Okay. So the other thing is that this is black and it's not really going to show up a whole bunch. I didn't even consider that. Okay. But we're still going to do it to it. I'm going to do it like that. And then once you have it down, you take some sort of like, excuse me, not that again. I must be talking too much. I'm getting all hoarse in the throat. You get some sort of like sharp edge. I'm just going to use use what I got, Adapt and Overcome. This is like for removing staples, right? But These transfers, the little ones, it depends on who you purchase it from, but they typically do not come with any sort of like tool to then rub this off. You can use a credit card, you could use anything that has a hard surface like this, and then just scrape it away until you see the film kind of turning like a light gray. And then you can see then the transfer is releasing from this plastic backing paper. And so there we go. You just slowly pull it up. I kind of like to run my other finger along with it while I'm doing, we call this the wave, because you're kind of riding a wave where it's coming up. And then you come back through and you burnish it with the piece of paper, backing paper that you just used, that it was adhered to, and you burnish it. And that's just ensuring that if there were any bubbles or if it was not quite sealed down to your area there, then that just seals it down. It's called burnishing. So now I'm going to take the second half of that and kind of continue on to the other side. Now it is a separate angle, a different angle. So I'm going to kind of line it up as best as I can. Come over here. I don't want to mess with that 5 because it's wet still. And then I'm just going to manipulate this until it looks like it's cohesive with its other half over there. So I'm going to come, I feel like that's cool. That's getting it. Okay, there we go. So you can see, as I just did, these things you can manipulate them in many ways. You could cut them apart, you could layer them upon each other, you could layer them over stencils. You could layer them over decoupage paper, or you could put them straight on any sort of surface, really. We do say it's best to use these transfers on a sealed surface. So it has to be sealed with some sort of top coat that is not a wax. It can't be wax, because if you think about it, wax is a very lubricant, it's slippery, and nothing's going to stick to it, right? But the top coat is more matte, and it is definitely, it's a sealed surface, which this already is. I'm assuming it was. It worked. Now that's not to say that you can't put a transfer down on a surface in which is not sealed, because I do it and it's considered off-label use, which means the manufacturer doesn't recommend it, but it can happen. It can work. Yeah. 32 minutes. You know what that means, guys? That means my lunch time is over. So we're going to be done. We're going to call that good. But that was kind of my overall thought process on this little bench here, stool, bench, whatever you want to call it. It's a stool, more of a stool. So you see the transfer there, Redesign the Prima transfer. We got some random stencils from Amazon. And then number 5 kind of carries on to the top, which is a recycled decoupage paper. It's got lots of numerals, lots of digits, some typography on there, some colors. And on this side, we've got just some standard sweet grain, sack, JRV stencil. Yeah, I might do a couple more little things on it, but overall, I feel like that's pretty golden. I mean, that was an easy little project, guys. I like it. I like it a lot. So, without further ado, I'm going to hop off here, get back to work, and then get home and work on that buffet that I'm working on. So, today is Tuesday. That means I'll be going live on the DIY Paint Network today as well. Okay, guys. We'll see you around 5 Pacific Standard Time on the DIY Paint Network if you'd like to join us. And without further ado, you chase that sunshine, whatever that means for you. Bye, guys.